I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. Unprecedented times call for unprecedented measures. My dear brothers and sisters, these are the latter days. If you and I are to withstand the forthcoming perils and pressures, it is imperative that we each have a firm spiritual foundation built upon the rock of our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. What would I say to Brigham Young, Wilford Woodruff, and the other presidents on up to President Thomas S. Monson? I'm going to meet him soon.
Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell. This is the third day before the prophesied fulfillment of Nelson's death. And I have to go over again with you. It's based on patterns with anomalies developed into a theory that are being tested. The test is Friday. If nothing happens on Friday, then I go back, check to see which pattern needs adjusting, which anomaly is needing to be identified and researched further, so that I can redevelop the theory to have it tested again. But like I told you, everything converges on this. And again, I will insert the segment that will go over the major patterns. But other videos have play in this as well. For example, I did the video the other day, I think yesterday, about the dream of Joseph Smith's, because of a Mormon who did a little video on it, probably has 1 billion views, has no clue what he's talking about. I went and did an hour-long video of it. And I had never read it before. I did the video with you, and we learned in real time what it was. And it was a bombshell. And there's more, because I still need to do a summation of it. Something that's a little bit shorter, but we'll throw it in this one, because there's several things that need to be included. Joseph Smith's dream was on 9 March 1843. And it has talk of an attack, but Joseph Smith does not interpret the dream. Orson Hyde does. And the church has imposed that onto the dream. So I went to the Joseph Smith papers with you, found out, yeah, we got to the core origin. But what they assumed was part and parcel of the dream was the sign in the heaven on 10 March, the next day, 1843. And I put that sign in the heaven with you in that video, and I'll put it in here in this one, hopefully. Joseph Smith gave the revelation of the sign in the heaven. And yes, it's about war in the latter days. And so a cyber attack, yeah, that could be part and parcel of the fulfillment. It has to be something that must be considered. I can't just dismiss it because it's not physical, bloody violence. But it's a ransomware attack that went on today for the Geminid meteor showers at its peak tonight and into tomorrow morning. Geminid in Gemini. The sign in the heavens in 1843 that Joseph Smith was referring to the latter days was in Gemini, the moon. The 9-day-old moon, first quarter moon in Gemini. And so it is early before the 17th. So it currently poses an anomaly as a result. But the church paid for it. They pay for all Russian attacks on America. Because when Nelson took over in his solemn assembly, announcing the temples in a major city yet to be determined in Russia. And Russia is expert, especially Putin, in compromat. Everybody who does business with Russia gets dirty, either willingly or unwillingly. If you get yourself involved with Russia, you are going to be compromised. That is a fact. That's how Putin does things. He is a crime mob boss who's trained by the KGB. That's how he ran Russia. That's how he's running Russia. That's how he used the church. And so SolarWinds last year? Yeah, a Mormon company right here in Utah. And this year, Kronos. It was just in the last hour. And so you'll be hearing more about it because it was huge. And it's tied to Russia and thus tied to the church. Because Don Glenn, he's in the financial department for the temple department. Currently, the church uses Kronos because of Don Glenn, because that was his former life before having a job with the church. So there again, a Mormon company with Mormon tithing money used by Russia to attack America. The Church of Jesus Christ are paying our enemies to destroy America with tithing money. We have the money trail. It's a fact. Why our government can't figure it out only means they must be in on it. They need to do their job. Lock them up, shut down the church again. That's why God is pissed with all these signs of patterns all converging on Friday. It's not me, though I am pissed with the church too. These are the patterns in nature. Signs in the heavens, other scriptural, historical events, all patterns. And so, it's not a coincidence that in section 85, when Joseph Smith is doing a Mormon version of Deuteronomy 18, talking about the prophet like Moses and the false prophet dies. Section 85, verse 7 is the prophet like Moses, called the one mighty and strong then. And then verse 8, the false prophet who dies. And Joseph Smith throws us some clues as to the identity of the true prophet like Moses by saying, like the vivid shaft of lightning is the manner in which he'll die. The lightning bolt is the symbol of Jupiter. Jupiter is the man-child of Revelation 12. The last day's Christ, the man like Moses. Also, Jupiter ties in with Ezekiel, the parable in chapter 17, because he's also symbolized by the eagle and the oak tree. It refers to the cedar of Lebanon, but the eagle takes a twig and transports it to a foreign land where the nativity of Jupiter, Horus, man-child, man like Moses, one mighty and strong, etc., is born and raised. And it's not Bethlehem. Oakland, the only place in the world that has trees similar to cedars of Lebanon. You guys just refuse to believe. And it takes mass destruction, putting your lives in jeopardy, for you to finally wake up and go, hey, maybe the church isn't true. And so the Geminids are tonight, with stars falling from heaven, and Joseph Smith talks about Revelation 19 in the context of his sign in the heavens that he sees, that first quarter moon, 9 days old, in Geminid. And says that it refers to the latter days. Joseph Smith learned this from his father, who was a part of the New Israelites, with Jewish mysticism, as well as being a part of the Yorkites with the Knights Templar of Egyptian gold plates, descendant of David fame. And Friday the 13th, which is also Friday in the Jewish calendar year, Semitic Jewish calendar year technically, of Tibet. And so I find it amazing, the timing of my videos right before the events, because I was looking back, realizing the anomalies of the signs in the heavens over the summer that I was baffled by, because nothing seemed to be fulfilled. And now in retrospect, I was looking back over them, they were all after the first of the tetrad lunar eclipses, May 26th. And so then I did a video in June, and I think July, and then there were a couple in August. All scriptural stories being represented in the heavens. And even the Greek one, I believe. Was it Perseus? I'd have to refer back to it again, but yeah, the videos are all there. They were all warning of the countdown. That's what you got to do. When you run the test and it comes up inconclusive, you got to figure out why. So you redesign the theory, make sure everything was dotted and crossed. So yeah, I see exactly what happened there. And so let's go over. Hinckley first visited Putin's Russia in 2002. He met with 6 government leaders. Church News only tells of 2. They don't tell us the names of the other 4. Nelson and his wife were sent to Russia in 2013 after Putin just won that election, of which he was pissed and blaming Mitt Romney for tampering in his election. And there's the church of Mitt Romney's church going to Russia with Putin, who already hates America and now hates the church. And Nelson's going over there. And so then we go to the final days of Monson, where the church is having his signature on all sorts of documents while he's on his deathbed. Senator Orrin Hatch gets into an argument with Senator Brown about how the tax bill for 2017 that's being rushed through to get out before the new year so that Trump can be satisfied. But Orrin Hatch isn't doing it for Trump. He's doing it for the church. And so he lies, saying it's for the poor. And we don't find out until after it's implemented. I guess it was so long. Nobody had time to read it. And so, yeah, it allows for people to not report where they get their money from through LLC corporations. And so what does the church do? Yeah, Max Roth of Fox 13 News Utah, in May, after conference, after a certain announcement of a certain temple by the brand new president, Nelson, a major city yet to be determined in Russia, $32 billion transferred into those LLC corporations, which the church then laundered through the stock market. You take criminal money and you put it into a legitimate company or business so that it's laundered. That's a crime. Church got away with it. But that's how Russia works. They compromise you. Oh, okay, you want to buy land for a temple, do you? Okay, well, we'll need the money up front. We'll work on where to have it. And where is that temple at? Nowhere, huh? They just took our money and ran? But they compromised the church with the $32 billion. And the church complied willingly, just like they did with China. Shanghai! Yeah, there was some dirty deeds done dirt cheap there too. As the church didn't even pay for that one. I got others, like the United States to pay for it. I did those videos. And so then Russia then uses the money from the church to attack the United States through cyber warfare, taking good money from the slave tithing of Mormons, corrupted to attack Mormons in America, as well as the rest of America. This is a criminal operation. This is a terrorist-funded operation that the church is involved in. This is the money trail. They got caught by me. And I've gone over with you, because that segment from this book is in that clip that I'm putting in this video. It's been their whole intention this whole time, from Brigham Young infiltrating Joseph Smith's church, to overthrow America. And I've gone over with you that whole process. Brigham Young meant to take over the church from Joseph, to then infiltrate the eastern United States to take over America. But things didn't work out so well. So instead, Brigham Young decided to take the sex slaves and the extortion victims into Mexico territory, fled the country, murdered the natives, established the Kingdom of Deseret. United States came in the next year, sort of put a damper on those plans, and so Brigham Young established polygamy openly. Why polygamy? You can have a lot more children a lot faster through polygamy than you can with just one wife. Those children would grow up to be your army to go up against the United States of America. But Brigham Young was a naughty boy. Church came in, dethroned him from being governor, sent the army because Brigham Young sent the United States a terrorist threat letter. And so he had to come up with another plan. That of sending the polygamous families to various settlements in the West. So that he can occupy the land, rather than having Western settlers occupy the land, like the Mountain Meadows massacre people, the men, women, and children, by John D. Lee, of whom Senator Lee is a descendant. Now, do you know why he votes the way he does? Now, do you know why he puts out the bills that he puts out? He's a terrorist. Just like his ancestor. Just like the church. And so then the Edmunds-Tucker Act shut down the church under Wilford Woodruff. And there's a number of Mormons who are pissed that Wilford Woodruff did not stand and fight against America for their criminal operation. So they formed their own Brighamite branch-offs. So the church ceased to exist. It was still going through the motions for Wilford Woodruff to finish out his term. The church no longer exists. It's officially closed and gone. It's now considered the late. And so Lorenzo Snow then, for appearance's sake, takes over. He's then, in the 1980s, falsely accused of having the protection racket Windows of Heaven thing. And then Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. They're asterisks because the church ceased to exist. But another branch off through the asterisks from Wilford Woodruff, Heber J. Grant. They had continued the tithing operation, the protection racket, which was why the United States shut them down. But since they were no longer using tithing to give citizenship to converts from outside the United States, the United States let them continue the protection racket as long as they weren't giving citizenship anymore. But they got themselves out of debt, had $1 million by 1823, for which they then had enough Mormons put into government offices so that they could file the brand new Articles of Incorporation for the new church. They can't do Brigham Young's practices, but it's a branch off. And the church is founded by Heber J. Grant. But they still claim, through Brigham, through Joseph, they still have the Book of Mormon, which is the very book that exposes them, with the inverted pentagram and the filthy rich that they eventually become now. And the great and abominable church, the Babylonian band, as Nelson falsely accused others of straw man origin. And so, because they can't recruit or give citizenship to converts, instead they have the policy, we're going to build Zion wherever you are in the world. And those converts have to pay tithing to the church. So that's their next plan, to increase their wealth, to buy up land, because they can't do it by polygamy anymore. And so under Hinckley, who meets with Putin in 2002, Hinckley decided to start the smaller temple program. So now we have, how many temples are we at? We're over 200, I believe. Are we close to 300? Uh, 168 operating temples, with 49 announced. So yeah, we're not at 200. Okay. So I guess it was 100 was his goal as president. Was that what it was? And so there have been more since then. This was October 2019. So yeah, there's been 2020's temple announcements, and then 2021's that are still needed to be added to the 49. So yeah, we got a lot of land for the church, don't they? And why do they want the land? Because that's what it's all about, occupying the land with Mormons. They can't do that anymore. So now they're buying the land to restore their kingdom, to go up against the United States. And, as I've gone over with you, they are working with their enemies. As Benson knew it, Joseph Fielding Smith Jr. knew it. As the interpretation of Joseph's dream knew it. The church is paying for the foe to attack America. And in the deal with Putin, they're expecting to get the land of Utah out of the deal. And so Russia will be the lost 10 tribes from the north to come to Zion at Temple Square to replace those of us in Utah, even Mormons, who are being exterminated right now. I told you that. One of the bills that Senator Lee was trying to get passed was to have foreign persons brought in to the United States to work here in America. Just work here? He's trying to help the church. The church is purging Utahns. That's why the cost of living is so high. That's why people can't afford to live anymore. We're suffering here in Utah because the church is trying to exterminate us and kick us out, to purge us. That's why the church did not help during his birthday windstorm last year. This is why the church didn't step in to help with the Magna earthquake, the day after my birthday. Gabriel knocking the horn out of Moroni. What does it take, Mormons? I did the video the other week, I think it was last week, about the news that the church is no longer they stopped reporting Mormon numbers here in Utah. And my brother is in charge of that, to find the missing Mormons. My brother calls it research. My brother lost 15 million Mormons. But that should have been done last year. So no, they're purposely losing Mormons. That's why they're not reporting. That's why they're claiming, coronavirus this year, not last year, when we partially shut down the church briefly and temporarily and opened it up way too soon, which then caused the super spread. And it's still the super spreader. Are kids still in school? We'll find out. Because the kids' stats on Utah's coronavirus show us exactly the graph chart. And you can see week after week the kids that went to church and then went to school and spread it around to the other kids who then got the symptoms. And Mormons don't see it. They'd rather see me murdered as I'm getting death threats. The church are inciting Mormons to violence, to anger, to lies through fallacy arguments. Mormons are believing the church and their lies, just as MAGA follows Q and Trump, but Trump gets it from Q and from Fox, who gets it from Q, and they all perpetuate it among themselves. I never did get to the 13 ways before Christmas. LDS prophets lie. And that's not the 12 days either, 12 ways either. Oh well. It's a fact the church is criminal. It's a fact the church lies. It's a fact the church are terrorists. It's a fact that they're racist, sexist, bigoted, hateful of the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted. They did nothing for the tornado, where a sister missionary was sent there the day before. She's safe, thank God, but she shouldn't even be on her mission. All missionary work should be held online. Nobody wants to follow the medical professionals from the beginning. So, yes, with Nelson sending me a death threat, making a false accusation against me, using Carthage jail, or not Carthage, Liberty jail, to send the death threat. Perils. And you guys never believe me. You never believed me when I showed this to you that day I got it. Came home. Oh, look what the church left for me. And I got a response comment saying, oh, you don't know. It could have been. No. Again, you look for patterns. Anomalies, you develop a theory, you test the theory. Guess what? The test came back confirmed. This was my source of money. Main source. I have other sources, but it was the main one. And I was being forced to go there week after week. Well, it's gone. Right after this. And then I found out that the signs for job offering that were then posted were also part of that. Because the billboard changed after that. On the day I was it the day I was destroyed? I think it was, that week. Or after that. Yeah, it was last week. After that. Yeah, it was Monday. Monday they did it, and so Tuesday morning I found it. Yeah, and I did the video. Or brought it in the video, didn't I? If not, I'm doing it here. But yeah, get a job now. Instead of kill yourself, Travis, now it says get a job. Because they were coming for me to take away my main source of money. And did you know? You don't. The reason why this source was my main source of money was because of the church in 2008, of which I caught the money trail of them ordering and paying for my assassination. That's why I was getting that main source of income. With the concentration camp of Utah. This is why the church is demanding YouTube shut me down and silence me. They know I know. And they don't want you to know. And it's bad enough that I'm still doing videos. So now they've destroyed me. But apparently I was granted a brief reprieve to last a little longer than I expected. I'm not saved yet, but my life has been extended briefly. But I will be able to be around for Friday. So we'll see if the test is confirmed or not. And I don't think that Nelson can do anything about Friday like he did for the 22nd of September. I saved your lives. That's why I did video after video after video after video until YouTube had to shut me down and silence me. Did you notice that? I thought it was just right before conference. Nope. I had spoiled the first attack. This is now Plan B. And here it is. Ransomware during the Geminid meteor showers. But whether there's something else, that's what we have to wait and find out. Because today isn't Friday. Today is just corresponding with Joseph Smith's prophecy from his sign in the heaven. And so that is confirmed. In case you didn't catch it, Joseph Smith prophesied of today's cyber attack. Step aside, Nostradamus. I'm loving that song now. That's my morning run song. Not the lightning strikes of Judas Priest, but Judas Priest prophecy. But lightning strikes also applies because of section 85 verse 8. If you listen to the lyrics, even of both of them, both seem to apply. But there are people who are gonna think that I am a prophet if something happens. No, guys, I'm just a scientist developing a theory and testing it out. I see the patterns. I see the anomalies. I explain the anomalies. That's all I'm doing. And yes, it's weird and wild, and I can't explain that part of it. There are also going to be those who have already sent me the death threat saying that I'm a false prophet. And so if nothing happens, they're gonna be all over me. Ha ha ha, we knew you were a false prophet. We knew you couldn't build a boat, Nephi. Look at you, you're a snowflake, you're crying. And they don't see how they apply to the Book of Mormon bad guys. You know, Samuel Lamanite says, hey, stars in the heaven, guys. And so it's time for the signs in the heaven. And the bad Nephites are saying, we're going to murder you if the sign doesn't appear. And I've decoded that all for you. But the story in and of itself is a lesson. It's a moral lesson. It's understood at multiple levels. That's how great the Book of Mormon is. See, Mormons don't get it. I love the Book of Mormon. It is awesome. And ex-Mormons don't understand it. They don't get it. Why, Travis? You betrayed us. No! Brigham betrayed you. You guys aren't putting the pieces together. You've got all the pieces. It's just none of you have put them together. So I'm doing it for you. And I still have you guys resisting. No! No! Joseph must be bad too! No, the Book of Mormon must be a fraud too! All of it! None of it! Just relax. It's okay for the Book of Mormon to be true, just not historically true. It's okay. It still shows that the current church is the church of the devil. The great and abominable church, as the Book of Mormon says it is. So, alrighty. 3 days before. I'll post this tomorrow. And I think we'll put the clip in the beginning with the new stuff. So yeah, it's 6 o'clock now, almost 15 to 6. And so this is the third day before, which is tomorrow. So yeah, I was bored. So there we go.